Fellas, we had a big weekend here on Better Commander. Turns out my dishwasher broke, so I'm going old school all week, man. No dishwasher. No automatic toaster either, dude. I'm manually toasting. No flushing toilets. And we're taking a look at some commanders from yesteryear. And there are a crop of sleepers, my brothers. Wait until you sink your jaws into this. The releases come fast and furious. So maybe there will be some cards in here that you skipped over. Or maybe you blinked and missed it. In any case, take a minute to subscribe to the channel. You gotta hit that bell. There it is, the sound of subscription, buddy. We have a Discord also, Patreon, my OnlyFans. I'm launching next month, brother. Get in there. I'm collecting Speedos as we speak. Alright, let's get right to it here. Captain N Decklist. I don't know if that's how you say his name or not, man, but that's how I'm gonna call him Captain N from now on. 3 blue and a black, legendary creature, horror pirate. It's a 3/6. Horrors you control have menace. Whenever a horror you control deals combat damage to a player, that player mills that many cards. At the beginning of your end step, choose target artifact or creature card in an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the library this turn. Put it onto the battlefield under your control. Alright, so this is 5 mana. You know, it just has 3 power, isn't anything to write home about. You know, it does have menace, due to the horrors you control have menace clause. But for some reason it ends up being way stronger than it has any right to be. Basically, at every end step, once he's out, you're packing the board with artifacts or creatures that you milled. It's almost like a free permanent basically every turn if you build your deck right. So you put in your horrors out there. This guy, Hullbreaker Horror, is pretty ubiquitous at this point. 5 blue, creature Kraken Horror. It's a 7/8 with flash. Spell can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose one. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So if you can cast and bounce an Everflowing Chalice and a Soul Ring, you can easily bounce all the non-lands and go infinite. You also have some really decent attackers like Phyrexian Obliterator, so this is 4 black mana. For a creature Phyrexian Horror, it's a 5/5 with trample. Whenever a source deals damage to this guy, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents of their choice. I know, it's 4 colored mana, man, but this presents a really tough choice for blockers. Best to just let him through, but then you eat all that mill and you feed the captain's ability. This is around $7 for those that want one. And of course, the big boy out there, Toxrill the Corrosive. 5 black, legendary creature, slug horror, it's a 7/7. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, you make a little slug. And then you can pay blue and a black, sacrifice a slug, and draw a card. This card is absolutely obnoxious. Each end step, meaning your opponent's end steps too. What a slug, dude. That's what my mom says. Look at this guy, what a slug. And probably my favorite out of this pre-con, but it just got a reprint, the Brainstealer Dragon. 5 black, creature Dragon Horror. It's a 6/6 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were a mana of any color to cast it. Whenever a non-land permanent an opponent owns enters the battlefield under your control, they lose life equal to its mana value. That's kind of the cool thing about horrors, man. You have all these disconnected effects that do different, but, you know, pretty interesting and powerful things. I love this guy, man. I think it's a way underrated card. Now, of course, Captain N Decklist also benefits from many small instances of mill in addition to stacking horrors, so you want to run your crabs. Maybe an Altar of the Brood out there. You also want to be able to reanimate things from your opponent's graveyard. Reanimate, things like that are great, but this is a slapper from March of the Machine that does both mill and reanimate. Breach the Multiverse. 5 black, sorcery. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards on the battlefield under your control, then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. I picked up 3 of these at 55 cents, now it's $5. That's the hyena logic, dude. Get those cards cheap when they're cheap. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, Captain is interesting. He's a unique commander that plays in an underappreciated tribal playground, and I love him. Alright, take a look at this guy. Tadeas, Juniper, Ascendant, 2 green and a white, legendary creature, human monk. It's a 1/3 with reach. This guy is hexproof unless it's attacking. Whenever a creature you control with reach attacks, untap it, and it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power this combat. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. A Juniper, huh? That's a tree, brother. And that's your science quiz for the day. You're going to remember that till the end of the day, and I'm going to have somebody ask you about trees, man. This fella is about to slap you silly with a branch, man. Now, we all know that this is the universe's beyond Street Fighter character, Dhalsim. Dhalsim is the stretchy fella from Street Fighter, you know? But let's forget about that for now. We're going to keep this in-universe. And at 4 mana in the command zone, hexproof with that last ability, this is an absolute slapper. Kind of lends itself to an aggro Selesnya build that's kind of unique, man. You want your creature getting through, preferably to all 3 opponents for maximum draw, and that native hexproof is pretty nice. Now there's also this synergy with reach creatures, which is very odd. You know, there are some good reach creatures, and I always say with Odric, just give everything reach if you can. It maximizes your ability to block the crackback. But what are some decent creatures that have reach? How about the Kodama of the East Tree? This guy's 4 green, legendary creature, Spirit. It's a 6/6 with reach. Whenever another permanent you control enters, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser mana value from your hand onto the battlefield. Jeez, man, this guy's everywhere and is a fantastic value piece, and not a bad beater with reach out there. Now this guy is an undersung slapper, the Titan of Industry. 4 green, 7 mana for a creature, elemental 7/7 with reach and trample. When this guy enters, choose 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, target player gains 5 life, put a 4/4 green Rhino warrior creature token onto the battlefield, or put a shield counter on a creature you control. This guy's even better, man. This guy has trample and should be able to get in nicely, draw you a card. You definitely want some evasion. Tadeas would be an excellent angel commander, even if the ladies don't have a reach. Flying over the top rope to draw a card is a really decent way to get in for draw. And of course, the big Phyrexian praying mantis weirdo Bug Papa Zopandrel has reach because he's a big fella, making all your other fellas big. I like that you can sack 2 creatures in response to a board wipe and potentially save it too. And speaking of board wipes, actually this isn't a board wipe, this is a fog. Arachnogenesis, speaking of fogs, dude. Arachnogenesis, 2 and a green for an instant, create X/1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. This is $1, brother. It's an instant right now, and it's a real card, dude. This saved my butt a couple times. I don't know, man. Tadeas, he's an interesting commander that never really got any love, so let's give him a little smooch there, a little slap, and tickle round the neck for love, brother. Plus, nobody builds this guy. You gotta get out there and get that hipster credibility, man. And we are moving on to Liesa, Forgotten Archangel, 2 white, and a black. For a legendary creature angel, it's a 4/5 with flying and lifelink. That's 5 total mana, dude. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls would die, you gotta exile it instead, man. You can feel the emo sadness baking off this card. The art, both versions, look like a sad album cover, and I dig that. In the winter here, man, I'm ready for some emo music. She's a forgotten one. Her dad forgot about her. Everybody's all about Bruna and Sigarda and Gisela. You know, what about Liesa? Did you guys forget about the raven-haired beauty in the corner? Never put Liesa in the corner, brother. Anyways, man, we got lots to work with here. First of all, it's $2. Second, it borks all your opponent's graveyard shenanigans, flashback, all that recursion. Third, there are a ton of cards in these colors that want to die, that sacrifice themselves for value. And fourth, you have some black emo angels like the Eradicator Valkyrie. Love this art. 2 black, creature angel berserker. It's a 4/3 with flying, lifelink, hexproof from planeswalkers. Has boast for 1 and a black, sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. This guy just got a Duskmourn style spawn looking secret lair drop. How about this guy? The Dauthi Voidwalker. Black creature Dauthi Rogue. It's a 3/2 with shadow. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. Tap, sacrifice it, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. This card, I slap it in decks for value, man. You can do it at instant speed, but the card you play still abides by the usual timing restrictions. Remember that. In any case, this guy rips. Now this one's just a classic, the Cathar Commando. 1 and a white, human soldier, it's a 3/1, has flash, has 1, sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Honorable tactics, yeah, for honorable foes. These werewolves are playing on innocent travelers. I'll stab them in the back while they sleep if I have to, yeah. This is another damn staple in my decks, dude. And it's got flash, so you can cast it later even if you grabbed it back up with Liesa's ability at end step. Now this just got a reprint but is all the way back up to $3. Braid's Arisen Nightmare. 1 black, legendary creature Nightmare. It's a 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent of their choice that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. The value here is pretty immense, man. I believe that if you sacrifice a non-token creature, it would come back with Liesa's ability at your opponent's next end step. Alright, because the beginning of the end step already happened. I don't know though. I'm no judge, brother. Liesa has a lot of potential, and the lifelink is Diesel on a 4/5 flyer. You could include some of those synergies as well. She's a literal sleeper because people forgot about her, and that's sad. Alright, let's move on here to Samut, Voice of Dissent, 3 red and a green for a legendary creature, human warrior. It's a 3/4 with flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Other creatures you control have haste. Has white and tap it, untap another target creature. Double strike, vigilance, haste, dude, come on. These are all things you want in a Voltron commander. That untap ability, sure, that can come in handy too, man. Say you have a bigger mana dork out there. Say you have a Fey Burrow Elder out there. Come on, brother. You're in great colors for equipment. White has your tutors and your enablers. You can pack in some alternate attacking creatures, and the 4 Mirrodin equipment token creatures for a surprise hasty slapper. You're also deep into extra combat colors. Boros Angels, you got Aurelia, you got Gisela out there. You can control the flow of combat like a damn Samut out there. Creatures like Atali that have attack triggers are great when everything has haste, man. It's a pretty wide open card. Now let's appreciate this art here, man. This lady has been working all day at the hospital, right? And then she comes home, she finds you sitting on the couch playing PS5. The dishes still aren't done. The kids are hungry, they're crying in their cribs out there, and you're gonna get smashed right in the chops with a damn rolling pin, brother. Get up and be present in your own life. Your family needs you. Anyways, man, I'm a big fan of Samut for budget equipment deck. There are 350 equipments under $1, and there are just under 100 creatures that reference equipment that are also under $1. Some are even pretty good. Like the Armory Paladin. This guy's 1 red and a white, creature human knight. It's a 3/3 with trample. Whenever you cast an aura or equipment spell, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until the end of your next turn. A little impulse draw there, but it lasts until the end of your next turn. I love this guy. Anyways, man, Samut is a great card for a beginner commander player, man, because you got that haste out there. It makes it nice and easy for you. Coming in at only $3.50, we have Ephara, God of the Polis. 2 white and a blue, legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 6/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to white and blue is less than 7, Ephara isn't a creature. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. These things make great commanders because they dodge most removal. They just kind of sit out there and accrue this value, man. Ephara is an excellent blink commander and a flash enabler. See, you plop in a ton of ETB effects, you blink them for value, that's it, man. Preferably on every turn for maximum card draw. Now the best thing about Azorius Blink has got to be the Soul Herder out there. 1 white and a blue, creature spirit, it's a 1/1. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on the Soul Herder. And at the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. What a great card, man. Slender Bender out there with his big stink finger. Love this guy. Now, if you want to be a real degenerate animal, you can build into Theft with cards like the old Agent of Treachery out there. 5 blue, creature, human rogue, it's a 2/3. When this thing enters, gain control of target permanent. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. You can steal lands if you want, man. But that's a little mean, dude. Take a look at this guy, the Shield Broker. 3 blue, creature, Octopus Advisor. When this guy enters, put a shield counter on target non-commander creature you don't control. You gain control of that creature for as long as it has a shield counter on it. I think this is an underrated gem, but what do I know, man? You can't beat it for 11 cents in any case. Blink the living daylights out of this guy, steal all the creatures out there, but they can't be commanders, sadly. Now, of course, Ephara is solidly in the colors known for the best, most efficient interaction in the game. You got your swords, the plowshares, you got your counter spells. Has a bunch of cards that are creatures that can do that too, like Venser, Shaper Savant, 2 blue, legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 2/2, has flash. When this guy enters, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Say you cloud shift this guy, you just do the same thing. This is a bulk rare right now as we speak. How about this? Fear of Imposters, 1 blue. Enchantment creature, Nightmare. It's a 3/2, has flash. When this guy enters, counter target spell. Its controller manifests bread, dude. This is bulk. Counters any spell, and then they manifest an entire loaf of bread onto the table. You guys will be eating all day. How about this one? The Sisters of Silence. 4 and a blue, creature, human knight. It's a 3/3, has flash, and is a psychic abomination like most of my ex-girlfriends. When this thing enters, counter target instant spell, sorcery spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. You just blink this little animal out there and you're just countering everything, dude. These types of cards turn all your blink spells into counter spells. I dated a Sister of Silence, alright? I'll admit it, briefly in college. We ended up enjoying each other's company, man, that's it. It's just nice to feel don't feel the need to fill the void all the time. Just experience silent lucidity, brother. But if you really want to get under everybody's skin out there, man, just pack in some Peregrine Drake combos, Deadeye Navigator, Eldrazi Displacer, whatever you do. Flickering and bickering and blinking all day long. That stuff, you're going to draw a whole grip of cards while you're doing it. Sounds like a good time to me, man. Plus, Ephara is a big, beefy, indestructible enchantment creature. Come on, man. 350? Get in there. And those are 5 sleeper commanders, brother. There are so many legends out there, just not enough time to love them all up. But let me know what you're into. Let me know what I should prepare for on my OnlyFans, alright? I have to get a revenue stream going here, dude. I gotta pay my bills. About to sell all my kidneys, man. Probably have a couple left back there, right? I only sold 2 of them. Thanks for watching, bros. I love you guys very much. Nikki G, Better Commander, signing off.